All right, so here is today's do now for Wednesday, March 30th. Which of the following is the solution to the differential equation dy dx is equal to negative x over y e to the x squared? So go ahead and try to separate these into a separable differential equation and then integrate both sides and use that initial condition in order to figure out which of these makes the most sense. Feel free to send me your solution for feedback, and I will provide that for you on Teams. All right, so the focus of today's lesson is once again separable equations. Once again, a separable equation is a first-order differential equation in which the expression for dy dx can be factored as a function of x times a function of y. So we're going to take a look again at a differential equation, and we are going to separate it just like we did yesterday. So you'll notice that both parts on the right-hand side are in relation to x, so we will not move either of those. We will simply move the dx to the other side. So we get dy is equal to e to the negative x squared over x dx. And then we will integrate both sides of the equation. Now, the left-hand side, when we integrate that, we get y plus some constant. And then the right-hand side, well, we could attempt to use substitution, but in this case, it's actually not going to work. So we are not going to do use substitution. If you play around with it, you'll see why it doesn't work. So we have no algebraic methods to solve this. So we're going to leave it alone. Now, in noticing this, you might feel that we are stuck here. Well, if instead of treating this as an indefinite integral, we instead decide to treat this as a definite integral, we can play with this initial condition being 1, 7. And instead of saying the integral, we'll say the integral from 1 to x. And then what happens is we will have on both of these this definite integral, and we'll notice that y is f of x. So that this integral over here, this y plus c from x to 1, is literally going to be f of x minus f of 1, because the c and c will cancel. And that is because y is f of x. So y with x, which is f of x, and y with 1, which is f of 1, and then the c minus c will cancel each other. So that is mathematically the integral of this right-hand side, e to the negative x squared over x dx. Now, if we want to solve this for f of x, we will move the f of 1 to the right-hand side. So this becomes f of x is equal to f of 1 plus the integral from 1 to x, e to the negative x squared over x dx. Now, we know that f of 1 is 7. So we can see then that f of x is equal to 7 plus 1 to x e to the negative x squared over x dx. Now, the question here would like us to find f of 3. So we'll plug in 3. F of 3, 7 plus 1 to 3 e to the negative x squared over x dx. And then at this point, we need to use our graphing calculator. So take your graphing calculator, turn it on, type in 7 plus math 9, the integral from 1 to 3, e to the negative x squared over x dx, and you should find that f of 3 is approximately, and let's actually go ahead and do that. So I'm actually going to get into Desmos. And we'll use Desmos here instead of the graphing calculator. 7 plus the integral from 1 to 3 of, what did we have? E to the negative x squared over x dx. And we see that it is 7.1096. So let's jump back. 7.0196. And if we round it to the nearest thousandth, that would be, let me look back, make sure I write that correctly, 7.10196. So that is 7.110 if we round. And that's example 1. All right, let's take a look at example 2. So consider the differential equation dy dx is equal to x squared y. Find the particular solution to the differential equation that satisfies the initial condition. So we're going to start by separating this. The y on the right-hand side needs to move to the left, so it'll become 1 over y on the left, dy, is equal to x squared dx. We then will integrate both sides. The left-hand side becomes ln of y, well, ln of absolute value of y, plus some constant. And then the right-hand side becomes 1/3 x to the third plus a constant. Now we'd like to solve this equation for y, so we'll move the constant to the other side. So we get ln absolute value of y is equal to 1/3 x cubed plus a constant, where we will let c be the difference of our c sub 2 minus c sub 1. Now, we would like to get y by itself, so we're going to take both of these and put base e and raise them to their powers, and then we get absolute value of y is equal to e to the 1/3 x cubed plus c. Now, they give us the initial condition that when y is 5, that x is 0. So we're going to plug that condition in, and we're going to solve for c. Now the absolute value of 5 is just 5, and then 1/3 times 0 cubed is 0, so that's e to the c, and we want to solve for c, so we'll take the natural log of both sides, and we get the natural log of e to the c, which is in fact just c, so ln of 5 is c. We get here then that our equation is y equals e to the 1/3 x cubed plus ln of 5. Now you'll notice here that we changed it from absolute value to just y. Because our initial condition is positive, we know that the y values here for the specific function will be positive. If you look at the slope field, you'll see and understand what I'm saying here. Now, this is the correct solution. However, it is not likely how the final answer will be written. Note that when you have a base e and you have a sum as the power, that it can be rewritten as a product. And so we have e to the 1/3 x cubed times e to the ln of 5. And that's for the same reason that if you had, say, x squared times x to the 4th, you would say that's x to the 2 plus 4 or x to the 6th. That's the same idea here. So that if we have this sum of powers, we can separate it as a product. So then this is, what is e to the ln 5? But 5. So this is 5e to the 1/3 x cubed. And that's our final answer here. All right, our last example here is example 3. The silvery blue-green coloring of the Colorado blue spruce makes it the perfect Christmas tree. For tree farmers in upstate New York, when a seedling is planted at time 0, the height of the tree is 1 foot. If h of t is the height of the tree in time at t in years after it is planted, then the rate of growth is proportional to the difference between its maximum height, 10 feet, and its current height, is given by the differential equation dh dt is 3/20 times 10 minus h. Question A, is the tree growing faster when it is 2 feet or when it is 4, and explain. Now, the rate at which it's growing is represented by this differential equation. So what we want to find is dh dt when h is 2, and we want to find dh dt when h is 4, and we want to compare them. Now, when h is 2, we have 3/20, 10 minus 2. And we're just simply replacing h with our value. So that is 3/20 times 8, or 24/20. Or if we reduce by 4, is 6/5, or 1.2 feet per year. Now similarly, if we plug in 4, we get 3/20, 10 minus 4, which is 3/20 times 6, or 18/20, which reduces to 9/10, or 0.9 feet a year. The question is, when is the tree growing faster? Well, we will say the tree is growing faster when it is 2 feet. Why? Well, because our dH/dt at 2 is greater than our dH/dt at 4. And that's it for part A. All right, part B is wrong on the note-taking guide, so please take a close look at what's written in red here. So it says this: find the second derivative of our function in terms of h. Use this expression to explain why the graph of the solution curve must be concave down. So we have here our first derivative. We are going to find the second derivative by taking the derivative of the derivative. So we have our first derivative, and we are going to take the second derivative by simply following the product rule, because this is a product. So the derivative of 3 over 20 is 0 times 10 minus h, plus 3 over 20 times the derivative of 10, which is 0, times the derivative of h with respect to t. Okay, so this becomes 0 for our first term, and then we get negative 3 over 20 dh dt. Now we would like this expression to be in terms of h, so we're going to substitute our original function for dh dt. So we get negative 3 over 20 times 3 over 20 times 10 minus h. This then becomes negative 9 over 400 times 10 minus h. Now, as you can see here, this function is negative. Now, the real question is it always negative? Well, if we look here at this binomial factor, we see that it's 10 minus h. And we know that at its maximum height of 10 feet is when it's being cut down. So the only way to make this come out negative is if the height were greater than 10. Since the height will never be greater than 10, we could see that the second derivative will always be negative. All right, so we're going to state that. So since our height is always forced to be somewhere between 1 and 10, we can see that 10 minus h is always positive. Thus, our expression, our second derivative, is always negative. Therefore, our original function, h, must be concave down. And that's it. All right, part C. Find an equation of the tangent line to the graph of h at the point where the time is 0. Use the tangent line to approximate the height of the tree at 1 year. And then ask yourself, is this estimate an overestimate or an underestimate? So first off, imagine what we have here. We have our time and we have our height. We know that at 1, that is when it's a seedling at time 0. And we also recognize from part A that initially the tree is growing faster and then it slows down at a height of 10 feet. So if we are finding our tangent line at 0, we recognize that we are finding the tangent, so pretend this is a straight line right here, going through 0, 1, and is tangent to our curve. So what we want to do is we want to find the slope of our tangent line by plugging in to dH dt, our initial time of 0. Now we know at t equals 0, we know that we have h equals 1. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in h is 1. So we get 3/20, 10 minus 1, which becomes 3/20 times 9, or 27/20. We see that that is the slope of our tangent line. Now, we know that all linear equations can be written in the form y equals mx plus b. In this case, we have h and t instead of y and x. So we see that we have h of t is 27/20 t plus, what is our y-intercept? But 1. Okay, I'm going to try to write that a little bit neater for us. So once again, we have h of t is 27/20 t plus 1. And we'd like to use that to make an approximation. So we have h of 1